Great to hear from the coach of the Collingwood Footy Club, Craig McRae, and now we turn our attention to the coach of the Carlton Football Club, who's always been a great friend of us here at Fox Footy, and he's made the climb up the stairs through the crowd. Got here safe and sound, Vossy?
Bit fatigued, Gaz. Been a big day trying to get the steps up, so no, all good to go.
Hey, it is massive, and we don't need to impress upon you just how big this is, but you were pretty pointed in your comments after the game last week. You're a bit disappointed in the way they turned out, so what's the week been like?
Yeah, it probably hasn't been a 1 week thing. We've been on watch for probably the last 3 weeks, just how we've defended. We felt like we've been a little bit short on that in terms of what the standards that we want to be able to make sure we play to, and we've just provided small windows for opposition to be able to kick easy goals, and we've been fighting really hard. I'd say still in the main we're playing some really good footy. Obviously tidy up our finish, but at the same time, be able to defend when we need to and defend a little longer.
Your words after the game were really strong. So what did you spend your time during the week on?
Well, the first one was the defensive 50 stoppages. I mean, we had 3 kicked against us in, I think, the second quarter. So that was a bit of a problem for us. So a lot of it's in our control. You can spend a lot of time thinking about, the speed of ball movement that the opposition are going with, but we sort of felt like we just had too many breakdowns. But then in just some simple things in the game, we fell short, whether it was just being able to see through handovers or being able to sort of chase it out, and they were able to get goals as a result of it. So it puts you on the back foot.
Exciting thing is that you got the big boys there. You got Kerner, Mackay there, Vossy, and obviously you're drawn to those boys a lot. Are you happy with the balance at the moment, or is that part of the game style predictability, or would you like a little bit more variation as you enter inside 50?
Yeah, we certainly are not one-dimensional. We certainly started to play one-dimensional last week, and we sort of went to the one spot all the time and become quite predictable. Most teams will have 2 or 3 ways to go inside 50. I mean, look at these boys, they go all right. So you want to kick it to them. So I get to understand that. Like, Brownie would never get out of the bloody way, so he always wanted the thing kicked to him all the time.
50%.
Don't go put Brownie in the pocket, let me tell you. He'd be upset with that. But they obviously draw the ball. We want to have some variability in the way we play. We want to get some separation for the big boys as well, but we've got to use all our options when we get the chance.
Does that highlight the importance of a role of, say, a Jack Martin or a Silvani? You don't have anyone at the moment to come in and play that, but you would definitely welcome that if you had a third guy that would share the load there? Yeah,
absolutely. I think, although having said that, I think Tom's doing a pretty good job. I mean, he kicked 3 goals a couple of weeks back, and I think he kicked 0-3. They had 3 shots on goal and didn't convert any of them. That's a very different game when you can sort of convert those opportunities. But it's always a constant. We're looking at that, tall or small, medium sizes. What do we need? Speed on the floor. We feel like that's certainly not the reason in behind it. We feel like we've got a good balance there at the moment. We just got to be a little bit smarter when we go forward.
The way you scored last year was probably heavily focused on stoppages. It looked like it started to change in the early part of this season. Now it's gone back to stoppages being your main score source. Has that been deliberate, or is it all-encompassing, the way you defend, the way you try and move the ball, or has that been more deliberate?
Oh, you're forever trying to grow out your game style. And the last couple of years, obviously, clearly the stoppages and our ability to be able to score off it has been a strength of ours. Wasn't that way at the start of the season. Our turnover game was the thing that was turning around. And again, from turnover, I don't think really there's too many issues there. If we finish our work, that's a different number. So there's little things in your game that you can go to work on. We feel like we're in a pretty good spot, but we haven't probably played that perfect game just yet.
If you could only take one of those, which do you take?
I'd probably, maybe a little bit less of the stoppage. Being number one's nice looking at that number there, but I wouldn't mind sitting around 6 or 8 on the transition.
Pitnet's been a big part of that since he
has been, yeah. And his first look, his strength's always been those hit-outs to advantage. And, when he's up and going, he's fit and healthy, he's very aggressive. And he gives first looks for the boys. And I think that's where Tom's really grown out his game as well. Tom's a bit more reliable now with his hit-outs. He's not sort of a little bit more random. They've got to sort of learn that relationship between the ruck and what's at the ground. And he's been building on that and doing quite well. But obviously we've had to rely on him being able to go forward and have an impact as well.
What's been the emotional side of the game for you this week? You can talk tactics, but to get these players up for a big game, what have you taken to them emotionally?
For me, it's just about our standards and the way we defended. And I said it's, we try to compare off how we defend as a team. We're not trying to compare to anybody else. We fell short on where we wanted to be, and we've given opportunities to opposition. And I think a lot of our game is in the green, and you've seen that. There's a lot of green on that page, but there's just a couple of things we need to be able to tidy up defensively, and we won't get it all our way. Collingwood Collingwood are a fantastic transition team. They're a great team. We know what they can do. They can score end to end. So trying to get some delay on it will be important, but sometimes you just got to be able to scramble in defence and get the job done as well.
Vossi, a little bit shorter than 12 months ago, you're in a very different position to what you're in now. And, the footy world was coming for you and for your team. What did you learn about yourself, about coaching, about your philosophy during that time?
I think it's all still around the simplicity of the game. Certainly the clarity on the roles was something that the players really took on. And that commitment to defend first was always, become a really high priority for this group. And sometimes it just slips down the pecking order a little bit when you're chasing a lot of things because you're always trying to grow different parts of your game. And we just need a little realignment, I think, back on what's really important to us.
Big fella told us about your realignments.
Little sharp.
A bit fearful of them here. Hey, what about the opposition? They've got plenty of things that are kept up through the course of the week. We just looked at Daicos and Sam Walsh, two of the future of football, if you like. What's your plans for Nick?
Sorry, I missed that last part, Gaz. What was it?
The plans for Nick.
Oh, well, he's hard to chase.
Yeah.
I think the big thing for Collingwood in their favour is that they do flip in and out a lot. You'll go from half back, you'll play on the wing, and then go on ball, and he'll flip out with Pendlebury, and then he'll have a relationship with his brother, and then he'll flip out the wing, and then he'll come on ball. So you've got to balance how much do you actually want to chase one person and how much does that disrupt your whole system? And if it disrupts your whole system, it's not worth doing. You just got to acknowledge and try and minimise where you possibly can. Give him an order of priority when he comes through an area that we've got to look after him. So there'll be a definitely team approach to him, but he's a fantastic player. Wouldn't that be a sight seeing Walsh and Daicos
Give us a couple of minutes of it.
I'm not sure that'll happen for you guys.
Gaz asked us to pick which one we're going to take before. You'd expect him to play maybe a little bit more based in the centre bounce, so wouldn't you be considering De Goey and Mitchell aren't there?
The other side of that was Sam Walsh, and when you put his final series against his last 3 weeks, like that's a pretty good run at his last 6 or 7 games. What do you see in him during the week that gives you the confidence that obviously you'd have that he just keeps repeating?
He's an unbelievable trainer. He works so hard on his game, and he's a perfectionist by nature, and he wants to get better and better. And he was a very frustrated man because he pretty much had most of the pre-season done, and then obviously the back flared up a little bit on him, and we had to sort of take a step back for a while. And he was a caged animal there for a while, but once he gets going, he's a terrific trainer, and it gives you complete confidence he's right to go.
I can't tell you how much it means to us coming up here. I know you got to go. You're a busy man, but it means a lot to us. So thanks and good luck.
Enjoy the game.
Michael Voss, coach of the Carlton Footy Club. Craig McRae as well. So we appreciate the coaches giving us their time and just to wander up here and give it a little bit